頼んだぞ。
The votes are in, and Transformation Dex Episode 1 Super Saiyan has won out by far. So today I will be bringing you all the information found in interviews with Akira Toriyama, databooks including databooks for the manga and anime, about everything we know on how Super Saiyan works as a biological transformation. To start off with, the Super Saiyan transformation was first introduced in Dragon Ball Chapter 317, or Dragon Ball Z Chapter 123, or Episode 95 of the Dragon Ball Z anime. And if you watch Kai, it's Episode 47. To save us all a little bit of a headache, I will be calling it by the DBZ chapter henceforth. So in DBZ Chapter 123, Life or Death, Frieza kills Krillin in a brutal manner which seems to cause something within Goku to snap. As this thing snaps, Goku begins to power up into what would soon become known as the official transformation of the Saiyan race, a Super Saiyan. Something that we had only heard of from Vegeta babbling for the entire past saga about how he is in fact the Super Saiyan. And right off the bat, let's go ahead and dive into the most controversial subject ever introduced into the Dragon Ball mythos, S-cells. Yes, I know. You're moaning, you're groaning, and you're getting ready to probably click off this video because S-cells are the worst addition since midichlorians. I disagree. Not that I like S-cells, but we've known that Saiyans were a biological transformation forever. Their Grade 8 transformation was biological. Their Super Saiyan transformation would as well. Why would it be anything other than biological? Well, S-cells really help, taper down on what it could be, and it's a pretty simple yet effective explanation. This explanation actually comes from Akira Toriyama himself sometime in 2017, late 2017. He was asked in an interview, can anyone become a Super Saiyan if they train? He then replied, not everyone can really become a Super Saiyan, that it requires you to have a biological trait known as S-cells. Once these S-cells are, in fact, in a high enough capacity, and you have a emotional trigger or some kind of trigger, you can then transform into a Super Saiyan. But wait, what about Goten? What about Trunks? Well, if you have enough of these S-cells in your body, you can pretty much innately become a Super Saiyan without need of an emotional trigger or anything, so long as you have a high to, not even high, I'm going to say an extreme amount of S-cells. And well, what about Gohan? Well, Gohan did become a Super Saiyan a lot easier than his father, because even though his father hadn't attained Super Saiyan, he had become stronger, trained, and was a gentle nature in which he produced more S-cells and could pass on, which means Gohan started with more S-cells than Goku started with. Just Goten inherited larger quantities of these S-cells, which allowed him to innately become a Super Saiyan. Now that we got that myth out of the way, well, not even a myth, now that we got that fact out of the way, we can continue. Akira Toriyama goes on to say that most Saiyans have S-cells. This implies that there is a small minority of Saiyans who have absolutely zero S-cells within their body, therefore they also lack the ability to transform into a Super Saiyan. Well, why? Why can't all Saiyans go Super Saiyan? Well, this is the fact that the S-cells actually become more plentiful when you're a gentle-natured person, and most Saiyans are not gentle-natured people, so through the years, the number of S-cells probably began to lower and lower until becoming completely moot in some Saiyans, eradicating their future abilities to go Super Saiyan. Now, you may be asking the question, well, why can Vegeta turn into a Super Saiyan? Well, just because he does not have a gentle spirit does not mean he lacks S-cells. We are shown that he does in fact have S-cells because he has the ability to transform into a Super Saiyan. And well, even though he doesn't have a gentle spirit, training while having S-cells is another way to increase your S-cell count. So he just had to become a higher level of himself in power that he could attain enough S cells through just that he could transform into a Super Saiyan. Note that Vegeta became a Super Saiyan well after Goku had become one, which means he had to surpass a certain level of power, which means he had to have had a certain amount of S cells developed from that power, which would have been easier attained if he had just been a kinder person. It is currently unknown what level of battle power a Saiyan with S cells must achieve to have accumulated enough S cells to transform into a Super Saiyan. However, it is noted in the Daizenshu, Goku before going into Super Saiyan's transformation had a power level of just 3 million. So it can be assumed that Vegeta must have had a power level that surpassed 3 million to such a degree that he, without a gentle spirit, could attain Super Saiyan. We also learn that Saiyans who have achieved Super Saiyan forms, when they have offspring after attaining these forms, the large quantities of S cells that child inherits allows them to innately turn into a Super Saiyan. We see this with both Goten and Trunks, as they are both shown to be able to transform into a Super Saiyan without rhyme or reason. To break away from talking about Saiyan genetics for a moment, let's talk about Super Saiyan's multiplier. It is stated in the Daizenshu that it is a Saiyan's base power times 50. However, nowhere in the manga is this really stated that it is a times 50 multiplier, with Akira Toriyama in interviews also directly stating that the times 50 or the 50-fold multiplier is actually an over-exaggerated example, and that it was only believed to be at the time a times 50 or 50-fold multiplier. This just means that currently we have no real canonical information on how a Super Saiyan multiplier works, or even if it's truly a multiplier. We just know that as Dragon Ball Super continues to go on, the data books have become more and more unreliable when it comes to topics of lore. I will mention a few of these topics where the lore book and current information contradict each other, and of course the current information is the most canon information overall. So I will address those as they come on through the episode here. However, just to go ahead and throw this in there is one example in the manga that would attest that the Super Saiyan transformation is in fact a times 50 multiplier, and I will mention that a little bit later. Now to get into the meat of the topic, Super Saiyan. Once a transformation of legend, and now the legend has been realized. This was thought to have been performed over thousands of years ago by the legendary Super Saiyan himself. This, however, ended up leading to the Saiyans' extinction in the long run, as their overlord Frieza became paranoid at the Saiyan ability to rise in power, along with the potential myth that they could also transform into a higher state of power that could rival his own one day. This transformation, however, was shown that it did indeed lead to his downfall, yet it was through his own selfish actions that killed himself over the transformation itself. As without Frieza, there would never have been a Super Saiyan Goku. When entering into the Super Saiyan transformation, the Saiyans' base traits drastically change. First, their hair color turns into a spikier blonde coloration. Their eyes go from a stone cold black to a either brilliant blue or a blue with a greenish hue to it. Though a physical change is not the only change the Saiyan goes through. A Saiyan with a calm and collected demeanor will find themselves embroiled with rage, acting on their emotion alone, not wanting to control themselves, barely even holding on to the control they have while in the form. This change in emotion shows that while a natural Saiyan state in Universe 7 is shown to be rage, anger, all the bad traits, that this transformation probably would have been more useful for a calm-natured species that whenever they felt the need or had a issue with someone that brought them to anger, they could then protect themselves by transforming into this alter ego with more power. Though note, when a Saiyan undergoes the transformation for the first time, they then gain the ability to transform at will whenever they feel the need to, or the want to. And this is due to the S cells having been triggered. They can now trigger them at will. It's kind of like having a function you didn't know you had, and then when you discover it, you begin to utilize it when you want to utilize it, because it makes life a lot easier than without the feature. To once again touch on the battle power increase of a Saiyan, the Daizenshu did state that Goku's power level when he fought Final Form Frieza was 3 million, and when he transformed into a Super Saiyan, that would then make his power level 150 million. As I stated earlier in the video, however, a Super Saiyan multiplier is never canonically stated, yet I have found one instance where some more modern information has correlated with the fact that it may be in fact a 50 times multiplier. When Goku is measured by Babidi in Kili, his Kili comes out to be 3000. However, we don't understand how Kili works until V-Jump in 2004 released a breakdown that 1 Kili equals 50,000 battle power. Goku as a Super Saiyan was said to have 3,000 Kili, however, that translates into battle power as him having a power level of 150 million, which means that Goku's power level in base has not increased from the Frieza saga to the Majin Buu saga at all. That only his upper transformations of Super Saiyan allow him to access more power. Yet again, this is a little bit contradicted by Toriyama himself by later in an interview saying that Goku would become more powerful if he focused on just his base form and Super Saiyan transformation, mastering it to a point where it exceeds Super Saiyan 3's power output with less energy drain. While the Super Saiyan transformation is more powerful than the base form, we later find out that Super Saiyan is just the first grade of its initial transformation process. We know that Super Saiyan has Grade 1 Super Saiyan, Grade 2 Super Saiyan, Grade 3 Super Saiyan, and finally Grade 4 Super Saiyan, also known as the Mastery of Super Saiyan itself. Yet, we also learn from Akira Toriyama that Super Saiyan 2 and 3 are not separate transformations to Super Saiyan, but they are in fact empowered or powered up variations of Super Saiyan, where you are forcing yourself to transform for additional power instead of increasing that power output through Super Saiyan itself. This then creates Grade 5, known as Super Saiyan 2, and Grade 6, which is known as Super Saiyan 3. To start off with, of course, we will start with Super Saiyan Grade 2, being we've already talked about Grade 1. Grade 2 has some pretty drastic changes to Super Saiyan 1 in the form of bulking up your body, increasing your power output and your speed output. And your hair, of course, still kind of like resembles the same, but you know, depending on the art style and who's drawing it in the anime and manga, the hairstyle is usually just about the same as base Super Saiyan, or if not, just a little flared out. Grade 3, however, is where the bigger changes are. While in Grade 2 you became significantly more buff, faster, and stronger, Grade 3 is the epitome of sheer power output. The Saiyan is forcing the ki in their body to inflate their muscles and increase their power several fold over. Of course, the multipliers canonically are unknown when it comes to transformations above Super Saiyan, of course, because like I said, there is that one with the Kili. But again, the Saiyan bulks up to such a degree where it's hard for them to move and they become significantly slower. This, while they could essentially knock out a powerful opponent, causes them to not be able to do so because the power of the opponent may not be as much as theirs, but their speed would far exceed them, allowing them to navigate and handle them in a fight and wear them down. We actually see both Grade 2 and Grade 3 in action against Cell, in which Cell mocked Super Saiyan Grade 3 Trunks and shown that he too could access Grade 3 by inflating his own muscles into a part which made him both drastically slower but drastically more powerful, frightening even Trunks before powering down and pointing out how useless it is. Trunks then attempts suicide by Cell, and of course we know that he didn't get that wish granted. Cell went on to start the Cell games. But here's another key detail. Cell has S cells. He is a culmination of various different species. His base aura is actually shown to be a Super Saiyan-like aura. Note that all prior forms that I have mentioned here have various negative setbacks. they all have very stressful qualities. Super Saiyan Grade 1 stresses the user both emotionally and physically while transformed. Grade 2 increases that strain physically, and Grade 3 does so to such a degree that I'm sure that it is quite painful to maintain. However, now we get into Grade 4, also known as Super Saiyan Full Power, or I like to refer to it as Super Saiyan Mastered or Mastered Super Saiyan. This transformation essentially replaces the very first grade of Super Saiyan, allowing some very key changes to the transformation, like the removal of all the negative setbacks. The user is now able to, more in line, control their emotions. They're able to express themselves more freely without being angry or angry looking. Their hair becomes more detailed. Their aura becomes more slow and calm-like slowly flowing instead of burning into a fiery blaze. Which of course is key in battle, being able to control yourself, because sometimes the victory state that's needed is self-control, knowing when to do things and when not to do things in a battle instead of rushing in based on your emotional outlook. With Super Saiyan Grade 4, like I said, there's not a lot of physical changes besides the emotional and spiritual changes and the negation of energy drain that they feel, also allowing them to control their energy output as they see fit, which allows them to conduct themselves in battle and use and conserve the energy as needed to create a situation where they're more likely to be the victor in the outcome. Of course, not everything is perfect, as we see in the series. In Chapter 408 of Dragon Ball, or Dragon Ball Z 214, also corresponds with Episode 185 of the Dragon Ball Z anime, and 93 of Dragon Ball Z Kai, we learn that beyond Grade 4, there is in fact another grade. That is Super Saiyan 2. Gohan, as a Grade 4 Super Saiyan, experiences a traumatic event of watching Android 16 getting his head crushed, as you've seen at the start of this video. This triggers something in Gohan, not because he's seen someone he loved die, but because he saw someone that was portraying such innocence, such a love for life being killed in front of him. A life that he could have protected, even if it was an android life, if he would have just been strong enough. This snapped something within him, just as Goku had something snap within him when he first accessed Super Saiyan. Gohan erupts into a rage and transforms into what is known as the Super Saiyan 2 state, or Grade 5 Super Saiyan. This transformation makes the hair spikier. Any bangs that the Super Saiyan had initially begin to flare up, usually leaving only one bang, if any, still showing. Though, not just physical transformations, just as with Super Saiyan 1, another change occurs. The Saiyan, while in the Super Saiyan 1 state, was more prone to rage and outbursts, a Super Saiyan 2, however, Gohan is shown to be cold, ruthless, powerful. He doesn't care. He's not just powered by solely rage, he's powered by a drive to avenge, a drive to kill. One that goes beyond simple emotion, one that's more of a primal instinct pushing him to enact revenge. He eliminates each Cell Jr. by himself with powerful blows. Well, just about by himself. I'm not going to say that because I don't remember off the top of my head. He does so with such relative ease before coming back and literally punching Cell so hard in his perfect form that he spits up Android 18. During this time, Gohan has kind of worked off his issues with the killing of 16 and offers Cell a second chance. One which Cell jumps on and tries to explode the entire planet, yet this of course fails as Goku interrupts. Though, just like with Super Saiyan 1, anyone who has access to a Super Saiyan transformation can also transform into this transformation themselves, as we see with Super Perfect Cell. When he comes back from detonation, he has achieved the Super Saiyan 2 aura and bioelectricity that comes partnered with the transformation. This Cell was far more powerful than before, such a threat that even Gohan had lost hope. Yet, with the urging of his father, Gohan was able to push forward and eliminate the Super Saiyan 2 level threat. Now, while we're talking about Super Saiyan 2, let's get into a little bit of detail that contradicts what we know, or at least what we're told in various guides. Super Saiyan 1, of course, is said to be times 50, yet in some data pamphlets which explains it, they say that grade 4 is actually Super Saiyan beyond Super Saiyan, a level above Super Saiyan. And then other guidebooks state that Super Saiyan 2 is 2 times more powerful than a Super Saiyan 1. Well, is it a Super Saiyan 1 at base level, or is it a Super Saiyan full power? I'm going to assume it's the latter because that makes the most sense. Yet, we learned that in Dragon Ball Super, Super Saiyan 2 Trunks without transforming can exceed the power of Super Saiyan 3 Goku post everything in life up to the Universe 6 tournament, and it takes Super Saiyan God Goku to transform and instantly KO Trunks in Super Saiyan 2. This just really goes to show that the multipliers are absolutely pointless no matter how you want to look at it. Now, we move on from Super Saiyan 2 to Goku's most powerful version of Super Saiyan, the Super Saiyan 3 transformation, which has, again, some physical changes to it. First, the physical change you'll always like to note is he does not have any eyebrows. No eyebrows at all, and I know a person who absolutely takes a very stern stance against not having any eyebrows. They think that the no eyebrows is absolutely dumb. And some would agree. It's so powerful that you lose your eyebrows. Your hair grows to waist length, and it is said that even if your hair was already waist length, it would grow beyond. Just imagine dragging your hair everywhere, something that an opponent can grab onto and whip you around like a rag doll. This form boasts tremendous power and is first seen in DBZ Chapter 280 or Episode 245 for the anime and 133 through 134 for Dragon Ball Z Kai. This transformation is considered the limit. In the chapter title, it is literally called The Limit Super Saiyan 3, which means it is the uppermost level that a Super Saiyan can achieve in power. Yet we also learn in some guidebooks it is said that a Super Saiyan 3 is bringing all the energy from the cells out in the body. The maximum potential of the Saiyan is in Super Saiyan 3. Yet then we later learn that, of course, forms like Super Saiyan 2 can exceed a Super Saiyan 3 in power. Akira Toriyama states that Goku, if he trains his base and base Super Saiyan form, can also exceed Super Saiyan 3 power. So obviously it is not the utmost maximum, it's more of a more power strained form, is how I'm taking it right now. This transformation, boasting no eyebrows, is quite literally the limit of Super Saiyan transformations, as in there just shouldn't be one above it. Super Saiyan 3 was so powerful that it put on the mighty powerful Majin Buu on the ropes while he was in his fat form. Yet it is later shown to not really be much of a threat against the likes of Super Buu and later the most powerful form of Majin Buu, Kid Buu, as Kid Buu toyed with a Super Saiyan 3 Goku as if he had no real worry about losing the fight. Goku himself states that he was weaker than Super Buu, and this would be him accounting for transformations as well, because he instinctively wanted to just fuse and get it over with. Super Saiyan 3 is a mighty transformation indeed, however, has a mighty drawback. Much like the unmastered form of Super Saiyan, this form drains energy, but it drains energy insanely fast. A mortal body just cannot withhold the power of the Super Saiyan 3, or at least the strain it brings when you're transformed in this form. Because we learned that Goku states that it was much easier to be in Super Saiyan 3 when he was in Otherworld. Yet when he was alive, he just cannot hold the power for very long, and trying to charge up to full power creates another issue. It then makes his power drain just as fast as he had charged it up. This goes to show that Super Saiyan 3 just makes it where you can only stay transformed for maybe 5 minutes at the most before the strain takes hold of your body and you need to detransform or risk dying. Or at least, it may be a hyperbole, but it's quite possible that losing so much energy and being in such a weakened state after will ensure that you do die in the battle. Also, the multiplier for Super Saiyan 3 is estimated to be a times 400, or 4 times Super Saiyan 2, which again is estimated to be, or if I didn't mention that, a times 100, or 2 times a Super Saiyan multiplier, which is 50. But again, we really don't know the official multipliers at all, and the data books are quite useless at this point in time because so many different changes has occurred to Dragon Ball. We get Dragon Ball Super where Super Saiyan 2 can raise its power above Super Saiyan 3. Statements which confirm that if you stick to a single transformation like Super Saiyan 1, you can just exceed the power of Super Saiyan 3 without losing that much power. We have forms that just exceed Super Saiyan, which we're not going to get into right now. But I think I'm going to call the video here. I know it's probably not the most in-depth, but if you're looking for in-depth, you know, like historical or basis or whatever, this probably wasn't the video for you to begin with. I'm just talking about what's shown in the series or mentioned by the author, or data books, of course. If you've made it this far in the video, I would like to say thank you for watching so far, and I would like to pose you a question. Please comment below, which is your favorite Super Saiyan transformation in Dragon Ball Z? Is it Super Saiyan 1, Grade 2, Grade 3, Grade 4, Super Saiyan 2, or Super Saiyan 3? Remember, comment below and let's see what everyone's favorite Super Saiyan transformation is. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and look forward to future videos. I appreciate you watching the video. This is your host, Cross, signing off. Huh? You're still here? Oh, you're probably wondering why I left off Super Saiyan God forms and Super Saiyan 4 along with the non-canon transformations. Well, look forward to the non-canon guide to Super Saiyan forms and everything we know about them within their series, data books, and interviews. Again, thank you so much for watching, and this time for real, I'm signing off. Thank you.